Chelsea have just smashed West Ham in the bin juice settings. And you know what? That man, again, that's come from my club, decides he wants to get another assist to put some shame and, disgrace upon the name over in Manchester for the decision to get rid of him. He wasn't the man of the match. He wasn't even a notable man of the match. But the fact is, he done his job. And I'm going to have a lot of Man United fans saying, he didn't do nothing but the assist. If you look at it tactically, I'll tell you about it. But before you do that, smash the likes and subscribe. Chelsea were just good from minute 0 to 90. I have to hold my hands high in it. You know what? I could put this down to that West Ham were just shocking, but we're going to have to call that game for what it really is. It was an Enzo masterclass. Not the player on the field, because he was also very good. Maresca. Yeah. See, this is the game where you probably have to look at yourself as a rival and say, do you give Chelsea that leeway and say, you know what, maybe they got some respect back on their name? From the defense that looks solid, from their midfield that absolutely dominated that game all game long, or even to the attack that was just clinical. Where we want to see Nico Jackson in the form of his life, confident. You could talk about all the sorts of man of the matches that could have been placed on that game today. I think there's some unwarranted praise going elsewhere, maybe, because of haters. But for me, look, starting from the back, Sanchez didn't have much to do. I think Fofana won't get a lot of the flowers. He got ripped one time, but Fofana and also Tosin were very good units. Cucurella, the first half, Cucurella was making the big difference in that midfield. CAICEDO, if it wasn't for Jackson getting obviously the couple goals and an assist, you'd probably say CAICEDO was the best man on that pitch. But he wasn't, because Nico Jackson is what made the difference. Enzo Fernandez, for me, one of his best performances in a Chelsea shirt. Absolutely ran it up how it needed to. Yes, granted, you could say West Ham was not competitive whatsoever in that game, but it's the way the game went is because of the way the coach set up. I'm going to get a lot of unwarranted stupidness of comments saying that, maybe like about West Ham being absolutely poor and whatnot, but Chelsea made them poor. So if that's the case, then all of a sudden, then Wolves were just that crap, yeah? Because that was the question. Were Wolves that bad or Chelsea that good? We just had another display there, except they didn't fold as much as the Wolverhampton team. West Ham have got a lot of issues. Playing Bowen up front was probably the wrong thing to do. Somerville had a couple good moments, probably shouldn't have stayed on the pitch as long as he did. You played both sixes that got both hooked. Alvarez and also Rodriguez both hooked. And Soler is the only difference maker for me that came on, and Antonio that made a little difference, but not too much. It did not bother Chelsea. Going to be a lot of questions surrounding if that was a penalty. For me, I'm going to be totally honest. I don't think so. Yes, you're not really meant to touch or hold on to people in the box, but I think there's some leeway, like 1 or 2 seconds. That would have been a very soft penalty. I think the referee let the game flow. And in the end, could it have been a different game? Maybe, but who knows? Chelsea were already better. Anyways, they came out in the second half, got a goal straight away through Cold Palmer once again. Didn't have his best game. Had a good shot, could have made it, I think at the time, maybe 2-0 with another Sancho assist if that was the case. But obviously, second half, he got a goal to his name. And you don't always have to have a good game either. The game was running itself. Sancho, if we're going to go directly onto some of these players that used to play for my club, right? Sancho, I'm going to be honest. He wasn't up in there in the lights, but he done the job that was required tactically. Both wingers were just told. Even Madueke, you probably noticed he wasn't really involved because the midfield was doing all the work that was needed. They split the fullbacks. The fullbacks had to wonder if they go to them or go to Jackson. So that's why it was nice down the left-hand side and they created what they did. Or whether it went down Madueke's side, right? Jackson would just peel off. And the centre-backs and the fullback did not know who to press and who to go towards. So mistakes for the first goal was obviously Wan-Bissaka. He decided to press Sancho. But really and truly, he should have followed the Jackson run, who had loads and loads of space. And the centre-back didn't know whether to cover the space in the middle or go for when Sancho moved or go towards Jackson. And he just had that goal and he slotted it through the legs. The keeper could have done better. But that's the signs of a confident player right now in Jackson. He could become a real top striker if he continues this form. You can't say from what we saw last year in some bozo moments and being clinical, that second goal was phenomenal. outside the boot finish, bottom left. Are you mad? Are you mad? Yeah, that was one of the best finishes I've seen this season. Sancho and Madueke done their roles. Exactly. Just hold wide. Don't do too much. And look at, and that's what happened with the second goal as well. Because the fullbacks don't know what they're doing to the point, and also the DMs for them did not know what they were doing either. Enzo and Palmer and also Cucurella was occupying that space so much. That's why CAICEDO could slot the ball so easily through the centre backs. Because that whole back four was split. It's an Enzo Maresca tactical masterclass. So Sancho had a bog standard game, and that's fine. Didn't have to do much work. Chelsea didn't actually have to do much in general. You know, Levi Colwill probably won't get a lot of praise, but he done a great job. A lot of the time, you look at West Ham crossing in the ball. He was cleaning up. It was Levi, Fafana, and Tosin. Good games, man. And you know what? No unwarranted in the place, because you know what? We were talking about the defense with Chelsea, and if that's going to be the situation that gets them into trouble more time, maybe in a bit better games. But West Ham are one of the better outfits out there. You know, Chelsea can see the minimal goals right now. So this tactical flexibility that's been going around with obviously Maresca changing little personnel and whatnot, it's working, and it looks like the players are getting used to it. We'll see next game and the game after that, but it's positive. And I can't hate on that, because you know what? I was getting onto Ches saying, you know what? It's not about the result for me for Chelsea. It's the way they play, because that's what we talk about, sustainability. And I think that was proven today, in my opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. And you know what? Chelsea are going to be gassed. They're going to go into their next couple games. I think they got Barrow at home where they can rotate. Players can get their minutes. I really like what Maresca's doing with Fofana as well, managing his minutes to keep him fit. Like, I think this might be one of his better runs of keeping fit. And then after that, I think they've got a game at home. Who is it against after Barrow? Someone like, I think they got Brighton. Brighton are usually a decent test, but remember last year, Chelsea whooped them. Whooped them. So I kind of expect the same thing to be the case at Stamford Bridge. They need their first home win in the Premier League. They're probably going to go and get that. You know, especially with the way Brighton play, gung-ho, high line, it suits Chelsea to a T. So I expect Sancho, Jackson and Madueke to also have a good game at that point. I don't know who you lot thought were impressive to you, that was not really in the radar of that all. Just let me know what you think in the comments for sure. You know, I'm trying to even think about now, like, even where else can you really look at that game where, you know, where Chelsea were under the cosh, where they look like they're just anything. I'm trying to nitpick. And that's the thing. When you have to nitpick, you just know that you're done. That you can't place any sort of criticisms anywhere you wish. But Chelsea got the job done, innit? Easy, and 3-0 is a good result. My team's got to play afterwards. You got all the 3 p.m. kickoffs if you're watching it, obviously, as I post this video. But we wait. You must. We will see. Maybe I'm in the bin. We'll see in the next videos in a bit.